Not what I wanted to do. Not at all what I wanted to do, but whatever. Oh, I didn't start my timer. There she is. 10. Oh God, what is happening? Come back. Okay. Um, I just got done with the workout, and I've been thinking what's been really bothering me this week is my car got impounded, which, by the way, we'll get to that. We'll get to what my car looks like. I'll have my phone ready. My car got impounded over the weekend. Um, and I would be wrong to say that I was in the right. As in, like, I was parked, technically, not where I was supposed to be. Okay? And, I was in, like, a private residence, as in, like, I was in an apartment building lot. And I don't know how far I was from the visitor lot. I don't need to defend myself, okay? That's really not the point of this. My car was impounded. Um, and what is really the worst part of this that I found out is that I was impounded. My car was towed by the police, by the local police department. They were circling the drive and they had my car towed. Okay? Let me just show you. Let me just show you what we're working with here. And I fixed this by the way, but this is just an example of what we're working with. Y'all see that? Can everyone see that? That's my front bumper. Okay? That's my front bumper. Front bumper is zip tied. I have rust all on the bottom of the car. I have paint just chipping off, not rusted, but paint just chipping off. Um, and actually, it's zip tied in more than one place. Now that I think about it, it's zip tied in one more place. This is also say my car kind of looks like Dookie. Okay, if one were to assume my socioeconomic status, it would be poverty, and they would be right. Um, so that was really rough. Also because this same car with all of her cosmetic issues needs an $1,800 maintenance job, which I had kind of had the money for, kind of. I had the money to do it before I got towed, before I got impounded by the fucking police. Um, and also, mind you, like clearly check this out. I'm white as this wall. Okay, a little less pink or a little more pink than this wall, but I'm white as hell. Okay, so the consequences of whatever, slightly less so. But I'm still poor as fuck. Okay, I'm still poor, and that's very obvious by the vehicle they decided to tow. And and I hear what you're saying of like, okay, well, you were in the wrong spot. They like if it wasn't the police, it could have been the private property. And maybe it was. Maybe they I don't know how this shit works. I don't know if they have to call the police and then be like, "Oh, we got this dumb bitch with her ugly ass car in our parking lot. Like, go figure this out." But why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just call the tow company because whatever. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What does matter is one, I came home and my poor neighbors who have to deal with me crying probably about 2 times a week because that's how life is. My poor neighbors have to hear me pissing, shitting, crying on the floor, rolling around, and having a mental breakdown until I lock in and shut up. So that sucked. And then, as I kind of said, I had the money, which I had to gather. The community had to come forward to help me get my car back and give me the money for it. I would have had the money to pay for the maintenance that is desperately needed on my car. And when I say maintenance, like, I'm not just saying, like, well, I just got my brakes done, because also I had no brake pads. Okay? Again, just to emphasize how much I love this car. I accept Ugly Betty as she is. Okay? Ugly Betty is my key to social mobility. Not really, because after this, I wonder if people, I know I'm gonna have to, like, park my car so far away from any job that I might have an interview for, because I don't want them to see what I'm walking out of, because they're gonna they're gonna assume, and they're gonna be right, that I'm poor. Okay? And that's just not a good thing to be in this economy. Of course, there are not really many options to not be poor or to stop being poor, but that is neither here nor there. Anyway, so I would have had the money to pay for this car. I would have had the money to pay for this car had I not been impounded. I felt impounded. Me and that car, spiritually one right now, okay? We both got the same ugliness going on, okay? I would have had the money to pay for the necessary maintenance. And I mean necessary. Because if I don't get this done soon, as my lovely mechanic told me, who I cried to on the phone, okay, I would have had the money to get that done. I don't know why we froze. We froze, but that was probably a horrible frame. I don't care. I would have the money to get that done, but now I don't have the money to get that done. So my car has to just sit in my lot where I have a parking pass. Also, speaking of, that parking pass is down the road from where I was impounded. Like, we couldn't have given me a ticket, which I know would have like affected my insurance and that would have kind of blown, but at least I wouldn't have had to pay $380. $380 to get my car back. And I don't know, towing, maybe that's really good. Maybe it is. It might be. But either way, I had to spend money I didn't have to get my car back so that now it could sit in my lot so I can't pay for it, which is so sick nasty. But also the point I wanted to illustrate and what really got me fucking pissed is to go back to the fact that my community, my local community, as fucking if, you fucking wish, my local police department is the one that towed me. Okay? You know, I'm a white, as I know I keep pointing out as if you can't fucking tell that I'm white, okay? I'm also have been poor and continue to be poor for now until we have our glow up, until I have that stroke of luck, you know, where I'm a millionaire. I'm a temporarily embarrassed millionaire, as are the rest of us, okay? So, but being a white person, being a white woman, and like having been like more or less conventionally attractive at points in my life, okay, I have not had the worst issues with the police, okay? I've been pulled over once, and I was just a dainty girl coming back from the gym, and they let me go, okay? Because I ran a stoplight because they were tailing me. Because they're big with their big ass Tahoe at 3 a.m. I'm leaving the gym. Big ass Tahoe behind me. Not the point of the story. The point of the story is this time where the police pissed me off, okay? And this was a different police department. This was a different one. So the local police department has my car impounded, looks at my piece of shit car, okay, on a Friday night into Saturday morning, and they have it impounded. They got nothing better to do, really, because I hear sirens all the time at that time of night. So they have nothing better to do, it's obviously this one fucking cop, or it's like an agreement between the resident place, the private property, and the police, which is also suspicious, okay? Also weird, because I already live in an overly policed area, okay? So, sorry, I keep saying okay, because this shit pisses me off, and I want to make sure we're on the same page. So, these guys had my car impounded. And as I said, like, I have had very minimal issues with the police in the past because I'm a white chick and I have been more or less conventionally attractive. We've already established that. But now I see a police car or I hear a siren and I actively curse them and their families. I start thinking about the ingredients of like those fucking witch talks and their little lemon rusty nail hexes. And I start thinking about getting them. Not really. That's a joke. But, you know, it has made me distrust them even more. And I understand it's like, girl, welcome to the club. Welcome to the fucking club. There's people who are black, who are like, I guess I should say BIPOC, because like any person of color has already experienced this. Certainly people who are like black people more targeted than anyone else usually. But you know, we've been new. Everyone's been new that they fucking suck. But what I'm saying is that this has eroded any sort of trust or decency that I may have felt towards the local police department, okay? I already refuse to call them if anything happens. I mean, nothing, thankfully, has happened to where I needed them, okay? Something I couldn't handle or something that, like, whatever was worth the trouble of dealing with them. But it's like, you guys will never be community members, and you'll never be respectable, because this is the shit you do. You do petty shit just to, like, assert your power and authority. It's like, really, you looked at my car and you're like, she can afford an impound. We couldn't just give her a ticket or a warning, or like, honestly, it would have been less work for everyone involved if you just moved me a few spots over. Because I know I was probably just a few spots over, okay? I was on the right side. I was just stupid. Oh, God forbid. God forbid a poor person be fucking stupid. God forbid someone in poverty be fucking stupid. God forbid someone in poverty make a mistake. God forbid. God forbid, because otherwise you're going to have to pay $380 for an impound that you can't afford because you already have to get $1,800 worth of maintenance on it. And you have to have your fucking boyfriend Venmo you. Okay? I don't know. And that's time. Thank you so much for watching.